everyone please stand. Dear gracious Lord, Heavenly Father, I want to come to you asking your blessings upon this meeting. Lord, we have a good turnout. We have interested citizens, Lord, in what we do and how we do things, Lord. I ask that you give each of us as commissioners the wisdom and help us all just to work together for the betterment of your kingdom and the betterment of Fannin County. Lord, we just thank you so much for your blessings. We ask that you would be again with those over in Ukraine, the suffering that's going on, Lord. You know all about it. And Lord, we just pray that you just be with those people as only you can. Thank you again for these things. We ask in Christ's holy name. Amen.
Amen. If you want me to pledge allegiance to the flag, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Gentlemen, before we get started, there's another thing I need to add to our new business. Come this morning, so we didn't have time to get it put on the website, but it'll be under new business number 6. It'll be Public Works Director on equipment repair. So I will make a motion that we amend our agenda to include number 6 for the Public Works Director on equipment repair.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank y'all. Under unfinished business, we have the approval of the minutes of our April 26, 2022 regular scheduled board meeting and the May 2nd, 2022 special call meeting. We'll start with our regular scheduled board meeting on April 26th. Commissioner Patterson, any errors or omissions in the minutes?
No, I have none, Chairman.
Commissioner Searcy?
No, sir.
Okay, I'll ask for a motion that we approve the minutes for the April 26th, 2022 regular scheduled board meeting.
Make a motion.
Ask for a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Okay, the next would be the special call meeting on May 2nd. Commissioner Patterson, any errors or omissions in those minutes?
No, sir, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Commissioner Searcy?
None, sir.
I'll make a motion that we approve the May 2nd, 2022 special call meeting. Ask for a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Yes, sir. Okay, under new business, number 3, we have Recreation Director Eddie O'Neill. Some information on the Blue Ridge City Park.
To start off by saying thank you to this board and the city council board for coming together and doing what's best for this community. I truly think it's much needed. So I just want to give you guys a brief overview of what's going on. The first thing we done when we decided to take this over is put together an advisory board. That's complete. We will meet Thursday for our first advisory board meeting. It'll consist of 2 city council people, Angie Arp and Christy Kay, myself, Klein Bowers, who is on our rec board, Christy Gribble from the chamber, and Commissioner Cersei will assist with that also. So that's the first thing we've done, is get together an advisory board to help advise with the projects that are upcoming. Beginning Monday morning, the transition started. We are in the middle of pulling out all the equipment and stuff that belongs to the city, goes to the city, and bringing the stuff that we need up to the city park. So that's quite a chore, and we begin that on Monday. So hopefully that thing goes smooth. The first item that we will tackle from a project standpoint, there's 2 large World Series tournaments coming in June. We will have the fields prepped, laser graded, and ready to go for those tournaments. That first tournament will be June 9th beginning, and the second one would be the 23rd. These are large tournaments. They'll bring people from all over the state of Georgia, outside of the state, Mississippi, Oklahoma. They got teams coming from everywhere. It's actually so large they'll use our park and Gilmer County's park too. So it's kind of a combination of working together with Gilmer.
3 parks.
They'll use Clear Creek and City Park. Tom Boyd will be under construction for the renovations at that time. So we'll host everything at the city, and they'll use Clear Creek Park in Gilmer County also. At that time, our 2 fields that was approved way back when will begin construction the last week of May. After that, the next big project is we will replace the existing playground equipment at the city park with ADA compliant playground equipment. We hope to have that design decided on and installed by the end of this year.
What about, where's the old stuff going, Eddie?
We'll pull the old stuff out, and it's really not legal for, it's not anything you could really use in a commercial setting, you know. So we'll just pull that stuff out and take care of that, so it doesn't get reused somewhere it shouldn't be. So we'll pull that out. After that, the next thing we will do will be the pool and splash pad. The first step of that, and I've already been searching and talking, is to find a design firm qualified to design and draw up the architecture part of the pool and splash pad. So we'll need a design firm, get that decided, and then by the end of by the beginning the summer of 2024, we hope to have that pad and that pool installed. We will completely take out the old pool, and basically we'll put a new pool in pretty much the same footprint of where the existing pool is now. So that's the goal. We'll have that thing open in 2024, hopefully. So those are the big projects that we hope to do. I think you guys have a copy of a budget I submitted to you guys to kind of run us through the remainder of 2022. Our goal is, and I want to say a special thank you to my staff. Those guys, we've added a lot, we've done a lot. We took on this project, and I talked to those guys up front. We're not going to hire anybody. We're going to make it work with what we got, and they never batted an eye at that. So I want to give a shout out to that staff also for making this possible without spending taxpayer money any more than needed, just enough to run us maintenance-wise through the end of 2022.
This is the thing he's gonna be helping you over?
Yeah, we'll get help from those guys some too.
Okay. What about that trailer? What's the city doing on it?
The trailer, Mr. Soroka, the city manager, told me his goal is to have the trailer out early June. So June 1st, I think, is their goal to get the trailer moved out of that park.
And that's, Zach, I guess, and his crew do some grading on it?
Yeah, I've had Zach to look, the weakness of that park, especially with events, is it's very limited parking, as we all know. So the goal would be, I'd ask if the trailer could be moved when we took the park over, part of that agreement, that can all be cut, filled, and used for parking. It'll make for a lot of
How
parking
many
there.
spaces, so we got, how many spaces, over about 100?
I think so, probably about 100 cars, and that won't touch what's coming in June. Yeah.
So at some point in time, we can go, what is that, field 4 with the middle school play on?
Yes.
We could go out at the end also and maybe make.
Yeah,
some
we can go out at the
additional
end, there's at some point in time, and I don't know why or how that happened, all the lockers that were pulled out of the middle school are out behind that field. So there's a bunch of old lockers, that we'll get rid of all that, that can, yes, that can be used for parking. There's a lot of stuff we gotta get out of the way.
Yeah.
I'm sorry,
Yeah, I didn't know that.
yeah. But there,
We need lockers.
anybody need lockers, yes.
What are you doing over there, though?
I'm not sure, but we'll move. We'll get rid of that. But yeah, there can be a lot of additional parking behind that field for too. We will obviously honor the contract the city had with the school system, girls, high school softball plays there, middle school softball plays there. None of that will change for those folks and all, so. Makes sense. Any questions?
No, that seems as, concession stands and bathrooms, we're gonna be redoing all them, or?
Eventually, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and all this, we wanna fund this with, our tourism product development SPOS dollars, along with recreation SPOS dollars, and we'll just kinda eat that elephant a bite at a time,
Okay.
we'll save and redo and save and redo, that's the goal, we'll do it.
The main goal for us, I think, as far as commissioners, not trying to speak for you, is trying to give everybody in the county and the city an opportunity to have a really nice park.
Yes.
So, thank you for what you're doing.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you guys,
So, I tell you, it's, I know we talked about an aquatic center, things like that, but, I really believe that, getting that city park back open, is probably the quickest and most inexpensive thing that we can do.
Oh, absolutely.
And to be able to use the TPD money and the rec slots, that's huge. Of course, moving forward too, so we're thankful for that.
Absolutely.
Good, so once you get your fields done at Tom Boyd, we'll have plenty of fields by then, won't we?
Yes, yeah, we can relieve some of the, pressure at Tom Boyd, and obviously it will help us at the city,
That's awesome.
Excited, y'all.
Huh?
We're excited.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
That's great.
Well, good job in, making this happen, Eddie. Seriously.
And Ms. Dawes, I think our name of our park was gonna be how was that? It was the Fannin County.
Fannin County Recreation Complex.
Yeah.
At Blue Ridge City Park.
Yeah, that's it. That sounds good, though.
Trying to get signed late now, so
Good job.
hope we don't misspell it.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Look
Thank you.
forward to Thursday.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Okay, number 4 under new business is, board discussion or action on the Fannin County release of easement. Gentlemen, I think y'all have a copy of that. Back in, I'll just try to sum it up the best I can. Back in 2001, Mr. Jones off of Foster Branch and Jones Creek Road, or Jones Creek Road, Jacks River Road, I'm sorry, Jacks River Road, had give the county an easement to put up that new bridge crossing Jacks River on Foster Branch. I think Mr. Jones has asked a time or two to, and well, it clearly states that we would use what we needed and then the rest would be given back to the owners. And Mr. Jones has asked several times to get that easement back, or get the rest of it back, what wasn't used. And release of the easement back to Mr. Jones for the unused portions. So, any discussion on that?
It's clear.
Okay. All right, I'll make a motion that we release the easement of the property that wasn't used, in the, building of the bridge back to Mr. Jones that is due him. I'll make that motion.
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Mr. Jones, we have it for sure. Number 5, Family Connections Executive Director Sherry Morris, with a proclamation declaring the month of May as Mental Health Awareness Month. Ms. Morris.
Good evening. How are you?
Doing well. How are you?
Doing great. I have with me Anna Spason, who is the chair of our mental health strategy team. Anna works at UNG as a student success counselor there, and she's going to read to you the Mental Health Awareness Month proclamation, and then we'd like for you to sign it for us, Mr. Chairman.
Whereas mental health is essential to everyone's overall health and well-being, and whereas all Americans experience times of difficulty and stress in their lives, and whereas prevention is an effective way to reduce the burden of mental health conditions, and there is strong research that animal companionship, humor, spirituality, religion, recreation, social connections, and work-life balance can help all Americans protect their health and well-being, and whereas mental health conditions are real and prevalent in our nation, and whereas it is important to maintain mental health and learn the symptoms of mental illness in order to get help when it is needed, and whereas with effective treatment, those individuals with mental health and other chronic health conditions can recover and lead full, productive lives. And whereas every citizen and community can make a difference in helping end the silence and stigma that for too long has surrounded mental illness and discouraged people from getting help. Whereas public education and civic activities can promote positive mental health and help improve the lives of individuals and families affected by mental illness. Whereas each business, government agency, healthcare provider, organization, and citizen shares the burden of mental health problems and has a responsibility to promote mental wellness and support prevention efforts. So therefore, Chairman Jamie Hensley, on behalf of the Fannin County Commissioners, please proclaim May 2022 as Mental Health Awareness Month. Thank you.
We will do just that.
Perfect.
And we thank you for this, and we have several of our NAMI groups that are from Union County. We're just beginning a NAMI group here in Fannin, and has been doing that. We also have Martha Hefner and a couple of, I think there's 1 or 2 of our board members here, if they can come for a picture. And we're asking you to sign several of those because we have lots of partners in on this. It's been a great partnership with several of the organizations in town. So.
Good.
We want to thank y'all for everything that y'all do for us
Thank you.
and for this community. It's absolutely.
And we thank you for this because this is the second time that we've had this proclamation. And Mr. Chairman, you were the first one that signed that here in Fannin County, and we certainly appreciate that. So this is number 2 for you.
We'll make it 3/4.
Yes, up there. Yeah.
We're gonna have to let these folks crowd in behind. I get a knife here. Yeah. Pull your chair over here and y'all sit down. Yeah.
Do this without turning anything up.
Go 1, 2, 3, do one more.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mitch.
Thank you very much.
And I'll mail you a picture of your name. You got it.
Sorry.
Okay, number 6, and Mr. Ratcliffe couldn't be with us this evening, but, gentlemen, I think you have a copy from Flint Construction and Forestry Division. We have a motor grader that the transmission has went out on. And this is our newest piece of equipment as far as motor graders go, and unfortunately it's it passed along on us. So right now currently we're using one, we do have another one that's, I think they told me it was a 93 or 94 model that they're making do with. But when I was checking some prices today, the prices are all over the board on these guys. I mean, new ones range in the $400,000 mark. Used ones that are the same age as that 2014 or 150 and up. So it just, my thoughts on it are, we need to get this one fixed to where we can use it on a regular basis. So, y'all have any discussion on this at all? The estimate on it was $41,829.90.
Are we gonna put it in ourselves?
No,
Or somebody else?
yeah, this company, Flint,
They gonna do it as well?
they will come and get it, put it in, they'll do everything for us. We don't have to do anything.
Okay.
Except
What
pay the bill.
model is this grader?
It's a 2014 model.
We use it a whole lot.
Oh, yeah, I can imagine. Is there warranties with this stuff?
There will be warranty on the new transmission that comes in. If I'm not mistaken, Mr. Ratcliffe told me it's gonna be a 3-year warranty on parts, as far as that goes. Obviously, if something happens, we mess it up ourselves, that'll be on us, but, my hopes is that won't happen.
Right.
But that would be, there would be a warranty associated with this once it is a rebuild, so, yeah.
Good. Good,
Okay.
good with that.
I just, all right, I'll ask for a motion that we approve, getting this road grader, the transmission replaced at the amount of $41,829.90.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Alright. This is one of those things that just come up that, sometimes you just don't have a choice. You either spend $400,000 for a new one or try to find another used one that's
Well, that one's not, you said it was a 14.
14,
So
8
it's,
years old.
you know.
I feel it should have lasted longer.
Yeah, but it's still, it's not time to buy another.
All right, so that, brings us down to public commentary. Anyone? Mr. Rand, come on closer, but, Mr. Vick, go ahead.
You go ahead.
No, you go right ahead. Age before you.
Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Afternoon.
My name is Wayne Bishop from Mineral Bluff. I think I know you all fairly well. I debated about doing this now for several months and kept thinking about it, talked to a friend of mine yesterday and said, well, Wayne, since you're so shy, why don't you get up there and do it anyway? So what I want to do is this, and I'm very sincere in what I'm doing. I want to commend each one of you commissioners individually and I wanna commend you more so as a group working together. Because I've been in Fannin County for 42 years now, and I've had the pleasure of attending about 90% of these board meetings, and I've seen a lot of things happen. You folks are working together, and all I can say is amen. That is the way it ought to be. And I'm not gonna preach to you, so all I'm gonna say to you, keep doing what you're doing. And keep in mind that you work for the people of Fannin County.
Yes, sir. Yes,
So
sir.
look out for the best of this county and not your individual selves, and I don't think any one of you would do that.
No, sir.
And I'm just happy to be part of Fannin County and see that we have a great county commission board.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank
Bishop.
you.
We appreciate that.
Stay over here.
Hi,
Hey there.
Michelle Moran, we have a home at supposed to be my address here, 7257 Old Highway 76. And we have a bunch of businesses here in Blue Ridge and in Morganton. And you guys have been doing a great job, so I echo the young man's sentiments before me. But I'm here to request publicly that the commission review the existing alcohol ordinance. You know, I've been speaking about it since 2017 when we acquired Cucina and Pizzeria. I'd like you to review it, the ordinance that would allow Sunday sales by the drink only, not in stores or any other places like that, but just so restaurants in the county can also compete with the downtown area, as well as came up to mind again because we've discovered that Ulticoa Farms was granted a full liquor license, including distilled spirits, which I do understand is done under a state loophole. Best word I can come up with to describe that. But this issue's been detrimental for years for the restaurants and hospitality outside of downtown. Most of the commissioners privately have seen no issue or a little issue, and I know you haven't wanted to really tackle it publicly. But I think with all the growth and the projects we have in the community right now, more tax income can't hurt. We have sales 6 days a week. I know the argument has been that Sunday is just, you know, it's the Lord's Day, what's one more day? But it makes a big difference to the restaurants in the area. For us alone, it would be about an $800,000 increase in revenue. I think that could be beneficial tax-wise to residents in the area as we're building new recreation centers, building a lot of new things. Sunday sales is also not a referendum, it's a simple vote, it's really in your hands. You can act on it as commissioners. Dozens of counties have adapted their laws since the brunch bill was enacted. I'm not seeking full liquor, I've never sought full liquor. 7 days a week, even when it was approved downtown, yes, our restaurants took advantage of it, but we, you know, did not come out and publicly call for it. You know, Johnny and I, we've talked about that before. With that, the grant that Ulticoa Farms was given for their tavern, we really haven't thought much about it because no action just seemed to be falling on deaf ears for 5 years now. And I never really wanted to speak about it publicly because I hate speaking publicly. But we just can't avoid it anymore, so I just want to get it on the table. I'd like you guys to really discuss it. Ulticoa Farms license was granted with that special state law, I understand, but there seems to be even contradictions in that. In that exception, it speaks even more to the economic hardship that this is now putting on county residents, county businesses. The developer there was granted a license even before he had a restaurant. He's serving out of a booze cart on the golf course with no food, which is against our county regulations. He's also going to be open on Sundays when he opens his tavern. That is against our ordinance. So I see some contradictions, and on the one hand, the commissioners who I've spoken with had said they really didn't have a choice but to grant it because of this loophole, because there was no county law prohibiting it, but there are county laws that prohibit sales of alcohol without food. There are county laws that prohibit sales on Sunday, so you can't really have it both ways. So he holds the same Georgia license that we hold. It's the same piece of paper, but it grants special privileges.
Excuse me just a second. I hate to interrupt you, but that that did not come through this board.
I know, I'm just saying that there should be some way for our businesses to be able to compete with just this
I
one small
understand
step.
that, I understand that, but if I'm not mistaken, Ms. Dawes, correct me if I'm wrong, the law says, or he falls under resort or something, ain't it?
It's called a REAP. It's an economic development program through the state of Georgia, administered by the Department of Community Affairs. The one question that is asked of the county is, do you have a law that addresses alcohol sales, full alcohol sales? We don't. We've never enacted. Therefore, it falls under the REAP correction. And I'm not gonna argue that it's a loophole, but it's a loophole that the state of Georgia has created, and it's above our pay grade to change.
Correct, and I understand that, but there are laws on the books that prohibit Sunday sales. And that is something that you can correct for us and help other businesses that have been here for decades compete against someone who's been able to find a loophole. There's no Sunday brunch at Cucina or at Pizzeria. There are no Sunday football games. Riverside Restaurant, they can't have a beautiful Sunday brunch. They could, you are correct, because I know that's gonna be the next thing. But we get people that come in and they get mad, they get angry, they turn away. There are plenty of people who I have served glasses of wine to when sales first came out in coffee mugs downtown, because they didn't wanna see, have other people see them having a glass of wine. So regardless of what people say in public, what they do behind closed doors tends to be different. And what they say to us as restaurant owners also tends to be different. And we get a lot of flack. They don't wanna come in and watch football without being able to have a beer. They want a glass of champagne. They want their mimosas with Sunday brunch. And it's just, it places a burden on us. One more day, what's one more day? One more day, it's a third of the weekend. That's what one more day is. Thank you.
Ms. Webb, Mr. Rick, you come after Ms. Webb, okay? Thanks.
I'm Joe Webb. I live in the Dial area in the South County. And the first thing I want to do is change our vocabulary here in Fannin County. We, for the first time, have had what I'm going to call constructive cooperation. What y'all have done with the school board for the library and what you've done with the city for the swimming pool and the rec is literally unprecedented, as Lane said. He and I have been coming to these meetings for a long time. But I just want to commend you for this. I want to commend you also for looking at Blue Ridge as part of Fannin County and looking at it as a central location for things. I live on the south side, and people in my community can't use the Boys and Girls Club because of transportation to get to Epworth. So anything we can do basically more central for the county. And as we move through recreation, move towards the south of the county, I think we're basically serving the whole community better that way. As we look at all this, obviously, everything costs money, no joke about it. The upcoming splosh vote is extremely important to all our future plans. Longer term, I've talked about e-splosh. I don't know if it's time for that right now. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of confusion. We just had confusion in Union County on splashes. But certainly the current splash, which we're renewing, needs to be maximized and needs to be thoroughly vetted in public. It's the most money we have for these sort of improvements in the county. That said, I'd also like us to look at the hotel tax. We, in the last 3 years, if you haven't seen the results from last year, have moved in hotel revenues from 2019 at 40 million to about 65 million in 2020 to $95 million last year in 2021. Right now, those trends seem to still be running. We literally are having record sales in most of our retail environments. 1% increase, which y'all can do to 7%, is $1 million $1 million in new revenue to Fannin County. I believe y'all get about 60% of that once the math is all done. But anyway, all that money literally comes back to the community. If it goes to the chamber, we basically do co-marketing grants with the chamber at the theater to help marketing this, that, or the other. So it's very important, and we need to look at this. Yes, we have to go to state legislature for 8%, but folks, we're talking about $2 million on the table right now that's available, that's paid for 100% by tourists. Very few people ever spend a night in a hotel that live in Fannin County. So this literally is a tax on the folks coming here to visit, and quite frankly, those folks use a lot of our resources. They basically take more police. The roads wear out faster. So as we're looking at splash on roads, understand all these tourists driving out on our roads, where's the stripe off the road? Where's the road out? Basically, there's a lot of money that basically is visible there. That said, I would like y'all to also look at how you're prioritizing things. I know we haven't gotten that far this year yet, but the theater is still in need of help, folks. And we're asking for that under the product portion of the hotel tax, which has to be spent on products. Thus far, we have done very well. We have funded a lot of needed things. The ADA equipment out at the parks was part of that product money from the hotel tax. It's interesting that we're now talking about ADA equipment for the city park also, which will be county recreation. But all these things are very important. Also, as we look at things, it comes up most meetings that there's an ordinance that's discussed that maybe hasn't been looked at for 5 or 10 years and absolutely needs to be looked at and redone. And I'll say that's for land use, it's for animal control, it's for alcohol, it's for every single ordinance we have. We ought to basically get citizens involved and start reviewing these things and taking action on them. That said, some days people say the community theater is too expensive for the public to come. So I just want y'all to know, every Wednesday night when we open, we have a free performance, full performance, complete, for a can of food for the food bank. So come to the theater tomorrow night and see a free show for food bank donation. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Tim Richter. I'm 8055 Astor Road, Blue Ridge. I'm the proprietor of the Coal Riverside Restaurant. Want to thank everybody for allowing me to do what I do. This is my 30th year in business, and when I graduated from Penn State, my goal was to open a restaurant in the middle of nowhere. I'm very grateful that I'm able to do that. Yes, I was here before we had building codes, and I was glad to see them come in with the inspectors. I was here in 1996, I had an integral part of completing the diamond process, which is what we studied when I went to college. It's a choice. But we've closed on Sundays because half of our guests, it just got to be too embarrassing to not be able to offer what we do for a living. So we close what we do because we want to have a fair, level playing field. Food and wine goes together, and it's a choice. And I come today to ask you to request, because I know you're able to vote based on the 96 issues. I don't want liquor. I'm not ready. Don't ever want to manage that scenario. Been there. Don't want it. I just would like a level playing field to allow us to serve the beer and wine on a Sunday, the way we do every other day. Without allowing that, that would give us about 600,000 more taxable income from our facility. With us closed on Sundays, people are going out of the county because if they can't get in downtown, the only place to serve it is out. And there's only 3 of us that have a liquor beer and wine license. And that is Tim Moon, Ticina Rustica, and myself. And we paid handsome for those. They were the highest in the state. And that we can be proud of. But I would like to request that you vote us to give us a level playing field to allow us to offer all these tourists to come up here and place in an option and a choice if they would like to have a glass of wine with their meal. good stewards, we handle ourselves well, and we're not into the bar music scene. We just drink good food that is served with wine. If there's a process we need to follow, please let us know. If there's anything that we can do to help, but we would like to reopen on Sundays and bring the folks that all come up here an option to come and eat with us and have beer and wine. Thank you again for your time, and thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, I'm Dr. Ann Merkel, and I live off Hardscrabble Road in Mineral Bluff. I'm here representing a number of people, but let me give you a little bit of background. I have been an active member of the Blue Ridge Business Association for a number of years. I've been on the board for, I think, 7 years now. I've been active. I see Johnny downtown at all the events as a volunteer, you know, the arts in the park and things like that. And I'm an active member in the Arts Association, where I also volunteer in the downtown. For many years, there has been a problem with internet bandwidth in this downtown park. And sometimes during Arts in the Park, there are a number of vendors, maybe sometimes up to 100 vendors, all trying to make sales. That's their livelihood. They want to come to the park and be here because it's a great event twice a year. But if they can't make a sale because they don't have internet bandwidth, then they've got a problem. In one of the recent festivals or events, there was a medical emergency, and people couldn't get through on their cell phones to call in the EMT. So that was a problem that is getting more and more prevalent. And you know, and a good example of this is if you've got a really good Wi-Fi in your home and a good router, and you use it regularly and everything works, but then all your family descends during the holidays and they all want to use their devices and their iPads and everything, sometimes people get bumped off of that. Have any of you experienced that?
We do all the time.
It's a
Every day.
bandwidth problem. It's not that 4G's bad or cable's bad, it's a bandwidth. There's just not enough juice going out there for the number of people and the number of devices that are calling for the bandwidth. I know you said, Chairman, that you can't even get cell reception here in the building a lot of times. You have to put it on the edge of your desk.
Down in the basement, yeah.
Yeah, so, you know, I understand that. And if you watch TV, which I don't usually, there are tons and tons of ads trying to entice you to get 5G. 5G is going to solve all your problems. 5G is going to give you the smart everything. You can, you know, have your smart house and your smart refrigerator and appliances, etc. So that is what's bombarding everybody. However, 4G, the 4th generation of internet, does just as well. So I am representing a group of doctors. There are 3 of us that have signed a notice of intent. And this is based on the fact that because of the bandwidth problem in the park, the Downtown Development Authority, the DDA, has a committee under their economic development arm that is already anticipating a proposal from a firm named Toro Blanco in Atlanta that is going to propose how they can put in repeater antennas to make them very aesthetic in our town. And their claim to fame is the other cities that they've done this for, which includes New Orleans, it includes Las Vegas, it includes Breckenridge and Steamboat Springs, Colorado. Now, I don't think we compare to Las Vegas. And I don't think our little town is similar to Bourbon Street, we are more similar to the ski resorts. However, still, there's a lot of people coming because those are world-class ski resorts. We have a great town, and we don't need to be pulling 5G in from the satellites directly into downtown because of the medical issues. So our notice of intent is to the Blue Ridge City Council, the Downtown Development Authority, and the Fannin County Board of Commissioners. And we've got our signatures on it. We're writing to express that we and very many of your constituents, residents, and business owners in Blue Ridge and Fannin County are very wary of allowing the 5th generation of wireless technology, commonly referred to as 5G, in Blue Ridge. Implementing 5G.
That's okay. Go ahead.
Implementing 5G would damage Blue Ridge's image as a haven for nature, art, and creativity, and as a healthy place to retreat away from the bustle or urban centers. We're very supportive of local business, including the vendors of festivals and local markets, yet it is a priority that we protect the health and lifestyle of residents. We therefore are seeking a solution for Wi-Fi service in downtown Blue Ridge that will support the needs of our vendors and first responders and people, in downtown buildings, even on the busiest days of the year. In the coming weeks, we will submit this plan for your consideration. This plan was to come through ETC, which is already hardwired in downtown Blue Ridge, and I talked with Alan Davenport today. And he said he had spoken with you. He's also spoken with Mayor, Rhonda Hyde. And he said in order for him to go forward and to match a proposal to that which is coming in with Toro Blanco, we formally request that before giving further consideration to the proposal for 5G infrastructure facilitated by Toro Blanco, please await a proposal and statements from community members regarding this matter. And I signed it, Dr. Ann Merkel, Dr. Joanna Corby, and Dr. Paula Rhodes. 2 of us are functional medicine doctor. The 3rd doctor is an astronomer who knows about the bandwidths that are being used at different levels for 5th generation and knows how they impact directly on the body. I'll also say, because it has been designated by you in this meeting, the proclamation of Mental Health Week, or month for May, that 2 of the highest level sensitivities of 5G, or symptoms actually, are depression and anxiety. And people react very badly to the extra millimeters and the bandwidth, or not the bandwidth, but the pulsing microwave radiation coming from the satellites that started being put up and turned on in October of 2019. So I have sent you some sources of information, and we are putting together an easy to follow packet with information to provide you more. But I do want to provide you with this sheet. And I think the ball is in your all's court. ETC can't go forward with just us as citizens. We need the city and the county to say, let's have a second opinion on this and not blast everybody that lives and works in downtown.
All right. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Anyone else? All right. We'll close public commentary. Gentlemen, brings us to executive session. We do, I feel we need the executive session this evening, so I'll make a motion that we go into executive session.
Second.
All in favor?
Mr. Chairman, before we do that,
I'm sorry.
we might have a lot of people leave. Are we gonna have this, our second, that gonna be on the 24th, election day?
On the, for the,
Or the,
Well,
it's usually in here.
I got
So
you.
we might want to talk about that.
Yeah.
That's our next commissioners
I
meeting.
think Seemed like last time we had it on the Monday prior to the election.
We had on Monday prior, the Wednesday after.
It's Monday before. That's when the last, military came in.
Ah, okay. Yeah, you definitely don't want to do it.
All right, that being said, what would that be, May the 23rd?
Yes.
Monday.
You guys okay with that, I mean, as far as that goes?
I'll have to worry about traffic. It's a stressful thing.
We'll go to 23rd at 5,
All right, so let's,
6 o'clock.
we do that before we go into executive session. I need to make a motion to come out of executive to do this.
Yeah.
All right. I'll make a motion, we come out of executive session.
We didn't vote to go in,
I'm asking for a second.
did we?
Yeah.
I didn't miss that.
I second, Chairman.
All right.
I
All in
think I
favor? Aye. Okay. All right, now, I'll make a motion that we change our next regular meeting from May the 24th to the Monday just before on May the 23rd, regular time at 6 o'clock. I will make that motion and ask for a second.
Second.
All in favor? And that's, including traffic, so you have to be early to get it. Now, I'll make a motion to go back into executive, hang on before we go. Anything else we need to go?
I'm thinking.
Did you want to go?
Well, I was gonna talk about that,
Okay.
as well, so.
Just hold on that.
So we didn't vote to go into it again.
No, I was gonna make sure we didn't have to both come back out of it yet. All right, I'll now make another motion. I'll make a motion, we go back into executive session and ask for a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Make sure you get all that, Sherry.
I know. I'm gonna have to watch the video.
Yes, they do. Pass that to Sherry.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'll make a motion that we come out of executive session.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. While in executive session, we went over two different items. The first one,
Oh, no, wait, what is it? No action was taken. Now you're out of executive sessions, you go forward.
no action was taken. Sorry. Now, we move forward. So, there was an item brought up, it was, contract negotiations. And the thing about it is, we didn't have an opportunity to discuss this, and I'll just kind of elaborate a little bit more on it, if that's all right. So, Mr. Ratcliffe called me today, we had another truck go out on us. We have two backup trucks, and one of the backup trucks, bid to us again. So, the amount to fix that is gonna be more, definitely more than the truck's worth. So he had scrambled most of the day, to see if anything was out there to kind of put another truck on the road. So he did find one, and it was, once again, it was a John Meagle Ford in Cleveland, Georgia, and I believe that's where we bought the last three. He had sent us a bid, of that truck, he's only got one. But it is a brand new 2022, just like the last ones we bought. The amount is $37,762.20. He has this in stock and ready to go. This bid come in just before our meeting, so we really didn't have a chance to go over it. Gentlemen, any discussion on this?
I have
Also, Mr. Chairman, that's a government contract.
Yeah, it's a government contract, and it'd be paid out of SPOS.
good price.
Yeah.
That's not executive session item.
No, but we just, well, it actually, you can have contract negotiations,
Well,
but we still had something else, so you'll like it even better.
he just hammered me on it, and I didn't know how to proceed with it, to be honest with you. Okay. So I will ask for a motion that we purchase this, truck from John Meagle Ford in the amount of $37,762.20.
I'll make that motion.
I'll ask for a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Next one. Is entered into a settlement agreement with a former county employee on an alleged wrongful termination. This come during the previous administration. So, that being said, I'll make a motion that we enter into that settlement agreement with a former county employee on an alleged wrongful termination during the previous administration. I'll make that motion, ask for a second.
I say.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.